gonna do something like this one. It's gonna be a scene with some UI. Our primary goal is to talk about UI in Unity, some tips and tricks around all of that, and we're gonna connect to your mouse movement the sun rotation. So it's gonna be like just a side effect at the background. So, and we're gonna do this main menu to your game with some particle system inside of the button, which is unusual for Unity because Unity by default does not support particle systems in UI. So we're gonna use some trick to do that. And some tiny shiny effect on the play button. It appears as only you're gonna hover your mouse on top of the button. So we're gonna do that. But before we're gonna start, let me show you this QR code. So if you would like to reproduce any from this workshop on your computer, on your machine, so I recommend you to scan this QR code, open the GitHub repository to read some instructions how to install some packages. You would need to use them for all this stuff. And during that, I'm gonna talk a bit more. So first of all, I would like to know, who from you is using Unity? Please raise your hands. All right.
Wait.
Do you use Unity? I heard you're working with XR, no?
Unity? No.
Yeah, Unity.
I don't have any experience.
Got it. All right. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Did any one of you installed plugins in Unity?
Start what?
Any plugins in Unity? From Asset Store, for example.
I attempted to try and install the GitHub plugin, but every time I would use it, it would just break things.
Got it. All right. Yeah, that's not wonderful experience, I can imagine. But yeah, today I'm gonna talk a bit more about packages.
It would break the project so bad I have to restart and make a new project.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk a bit about the packages. So the package, so let's compare a package to a plugin. So plugin, that's technically just a folder of some files, and you're gonna copy all of them into your project, and that's it. It's a bit dummy thing. It's very hard to update. I mean, yeah, you can definitely update it, but it's not very easy because some files could be deleted. It's not going to be deleted automatically after some update. So there is another alternative that Unity Technology is using all the time for their packages, like physics, terrain, all of that are packages. It's like model, dedicated one. You can disable it or enable it in your project, and you can import custom models. That's exactly what we're gonna do today. And to do that, we're gonna use OpenUPM. It's a command line tool. OpenUPM-CLI, that's a command line tool. To integrate a package by a single command line into your project with dependencies, which is very cool because let's imagine a case to compare packages to a plugin. Let's say you have two different plugins and both of them gonna use the same material. So technically, to make it done, they're gonna duplicate the file twice in your project and you're gonna have two unnecessary files. In the same time, if you're gonna use a package, they may use a dependency on that one, and it's gonna be just a single copy, which is much easier and much more efficient. So to do that, if you never install, oh, by the way, please raise your hands who, whenever in your life you try to install packages in Unity by using OpenUPM. No? All right. So first time when you're gonna do that, you would need to follow these instructions, these setup instructions. It depends on do you have Windows or Mac. You would need to install Node.js. It's not very complicated, just go to this link and install it like a normal software. And then you will be able to use this command in your command line. So to do that, I'm gonna show you how that's gonna work. So you can open by right mouse button, click on empty space in the folder. You can open a terminal and just paste the command, press enter, and that's it. It's gonna be installed. It's already installed on my PC, so I'm not gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna install the packages that we need to work with today. And first one of them, there's gonna be mouse parallax. This one exactly let us to connect a sun rotation to your mouse. So it depends wherever your mouse is gonna be, it's gonna reflect to your scene and move something. You can connect anything. It could be like beams of light, like in this example. It could be anything else, like sun, like what we're gonna do. The next one is gonna be Unity theme. We're gonna get back to this one a bit later. And there's gonna be a few more packages like UI effects and particle systems in UI. So let's get started. First of all, we're gonna copy this command line, paste it into the console, and just hit enter. OpenUPM gonna install the package for us. Just keep in mind you should be in your in the folder of your project. So when you're gonna open the terminal, make sure you are in this folder, that one which contains the assets folder. Right mouse button click, open terminal, and you are here. That's the right place. So instead of copy all of them one by one, I just gonna copy all of them by once like this, and install all of them by once. That's exactly what is happening right now.
We're supposed to be following along?
What is it?
Are we supposed to be following along?
We tried to install the Node.js thing. And
Yeah,
it
totally
was
understandable.
cool.
Yeah, you can try. Yeah, I have a lot of information. All of this is going to be recorded on video. The video going to be posted, like maybe
So-
in an
so
hour.
we should just be watching.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's going to be the better idea because you won't have enough time to replicate it right now.
Okay.
You can try if you like. If you're sure in your power you're gonna do that, you can try. But yeah, probably it's gonna be tough. So yeah, only all the packages gonna be installed. We just need to get back to the Unity, and Unity gonna immediately start to recompile some stuff because it just got installed new packages. It's gonna take a few seconds, and we're gonna good to go. So the first one, what we're gonna do, let's do the trick with mouse and sun. To do that, we will need to connect. Hold on, let me close all of this stuff. That's, by the way, the Unity's package manager. It's gonna tell us, like, all right, you just installed some new packages. That's good. So to do that, let's create an empty game object in the scene. Let's call it mouse controller, kind of. Let's connect mouse rotator component. That's a new one. We just got this one from one of the packages we just installed. And we can set any target right here. This target, that's exactly the object that's gonna be impacted by your mouse. So if I'm gonna move my mouse somewhere, that object is gonna be rotated. And we have some settings to modify right here. So first of all, let's do some object which we're gonna rotate. It's gonna be pivot light. Let's set it to 0. It's gonna be there. Let's see what we have. At the left side, we're gonna see the camera. It's right there. We're gonna see our pivot light right here in the middle of the scene in 0, 0, 0 position. That's fine. And let's drop the directional light into the pivot. You're gonna understand in a second why I'm doing that. So I'm gonna move the light a bit far away from the camera like this. And let's take a look. So there is the sun right there. As only I'm gonna turn this one, you may see the sun just follows this rotation, and when I'm gonna turn it right there, it also gonna like moves left and right. So that's exactly what we're gonna expect from sun when it just go down or up. Also, to make it a bit more beautiful, let's add some lens flare effect into our sun. Lens flare, we're gonna drop the component right there. If you're using a URP, it's Unity render pipeline, you would need to use lens flare SRP. That one gonna work. And we just got this pretty cool lens flare effect right there on the sun. In a few seconds, very easy to do. If you would like to customize this one, you can do this right here. You can also open this component to change a lot of stuff right there. But we don't want to do this right now. It's not our goal of this workshop. So we have lens flare, we have sunlight. Let's do one more trick. Let's be sure our sun gonna be pointed to a camera all the time. Unity Engine has a pretty cool component to do that. It's called look at constraint. It also has some targets to set, and that's gonna be main camera. So this component gonna look at main camera all the time. I'm gonna show some sample. I'm gonna take the light, I'm gonna move it, and you may see it's all the time gonna turn to the camera, because the camera is right there in the middle. So that's exactly what we want. Let's set it back, move it a bit backwards. Let's take a look at the game scene. We have the sun right here, looks good. Let's move it a bit higher probably. A bit right. Okay, so let's try, oh yeah, and one more step, the last one. We're gonna connect to the mouse rotator this pilot line, and everything's gonna start to work. We just need to set up the speed, let's say 3. The max offset, it means like how far away we're gonna rotate the object by x-axis and by y-axis. So let's say this one gonna be 40, this one gonna be 20. It's in degrees. And let's play the scene just to take a look what we're gonna have right now. All right, so I'm moving my mouse, and the sun just flies somewhere. So if I'm gonna move my mouse down, the sun goes down. If I'm gonna move my mouse up, sun goes up as well. When I move left, sun goes right, and etc. So that's pretty cool effect, I would say. Let's stop the scene and let's switch to the next step. And the next step, that's gonna be UI. So let's save the scene for now. And let's create UI canvas, this one. That's the core of any UI. So some of you gonna be probably, you're gonna use some XR, AR, VR projects. In that case, if you're gonna implement any UI, you would need to use world space UI. That's the render mode. So this one, it is screen space overlay. It means that UI, whenever it's gonna be, just gonna cover the entire screen. Which is not what you want for VR, because VR has 2 screens, and you need to put something like far away from you a bit in 3D space, and then it's going to be rendered. So to do that, you would need to change it right here to world space and connect your main camera. That's going to work. But for this specific case, we're just going to continue to use screen space overlay. That's going to be fine. And the next one, pretty important thing right here, that's event system. Event system, that's, to be honest, very cool stuff from Unity engine. It lets any input to pass to your UI in standardized way. So for example, if you have a touch screen or if you have a mouse and keyboard, it's still gonna be the same events received in your UI, and you're gonna be able to do some interactions with those events. So for example, when mouse gonna hover some button, the button may change a color or become bigger or smaller or whatever. And that's gonna work with this event system. It's gonna be responsible for this one. You can customize this one if you would like to have some more interesting experience, but that's not what we want to do right now. So, all right, we have canvas, we have event system. Let's switch to 2D mode right there. Scroll back. So this white rectangle that we're gonna see in a second right there, that's our screen. So everything what we're gonna put right here is gonna be in the game screen. So let's go to create some empty panel. Let's call it IMG panels because it's gonna be image. Inside, let's connect an image component right there. And let's stretch it to the left. It's pretty cool stuff, by the way. Unity has a rep transform component. It lets you to do some resize, uncourse, snapping to different sides of the window. It's pretty cool. If you're gonna use this UI element right here, you can open it by just click on it, and then you have some shortcuts. So if you're gonna press Alt button and then click somewhere like here, it's gonna snap your object to that side, and it's gonna be there all the time, even if the panel is gonna be resized. So we're gonna go to put this element to the left side like this. We're gonna change the pivot to 0 just to easily add padding right there. 1 100. And the next tip we're gonna use, that's raycast target. So let's talk one more time about event system. So as somebody gonna move your mouse or click somewhere, event system gonna produce event, like it's gonna be array that's gonna go through your entire scene to hit something. As soon as it's gonna hit some objects, that object gonna receive an event, like I was clicked, kind of. So important notice in this case. So like all of this requires some calculations. And if you're gonna have a lot of objects that's gonna be in this array for verification, like did you clicked or not? So you're gonna lose some performance if that array gonna be too big, if you're gonna have too many objects like that. And this simple checkbox gonna let you to remove this object from that array. So this one is, if you don't care about this one to be clickable, just disable it and you're gonna get some free performance for your game. Like very easy to do. And the same works with text, any different visible components you're gonna have in your UI. So yeah, and another thing what we're gonna use today, that's a Unity theme. That's another package which is already pre-installed. It's technically a color palette. You can connect this one to any of your UI elements or even non-UI elements in a pretty simple way. There is a component called image color binder. Just add this one to your image, and this one immediately gonna grab any color. You can choose another one if you want from that palette. There are many of them. Oops. Yeah, so it's different colors. And the colors, they have pretty common to use, I would say, probably pattern of the names. So you have a primary and primary text color. The text version of the color, it's all the time has a big contrast difference to previous color. So like let's say if you have a panel which has a color primary, and then you're gonna use a text component on top of the panel, you expect the text gonna be in a high contrast, so to become readable. So you probably would need to use primary text color name, and that's gonna be done in a pretty well way. So let's do this one gonna be primary. It's slightly purple, that's fine. Let's make it a bit wider, maybe 400, like this. And let's add some text component. It's gonna be a title of that menu. To do that, we're gonna use TextMesh Pro. Where is it? It's in UI, right there. TextMesh Pro, all right. And TextMesh Pro package just immediately asks us to import TMP Essentials. We're gonna do that. That's what we want. All right. That's done. We have some text right here, but we're gonna change the font because the default one maybe not the best one. There is pretty cool fonts in the web page called Google Fonts. They're free to download. You can grab any of them from right there. I'm just gonna show you real quick what I'm talking about. Yeah, so there are a lot of different fonts, different styles. You can just for free grab them from here, copy them into your Unity package, Unity project, and then you're good to go. You can use them. Oh, and by the way, almost. So as soon as you're gonna import the font, is gonna be this file with two icons, but for using that one in UI, you would need to have this one. That is ECF file. That one you need for TextMesh Pro. To make this one, you just need to right mouse button, click right here, create TextMesh Pro font asset ASDF. And so you're gonna click on this one, you're gonna automatically grab, you're gonna receive this file right here in the same folder. And this one you can drop to your TextMesh Pro component in UI like this, right here. And we just got a better text. Let's change the color of the text to make it more readable. Let's connect color binder, TextMesh Pro color binder, this one. And let's set primary text. And here we go. We have this title. Let's put it to the top. we're gonna use this snapping system of the Unity. We're gonna move it right there. We're gonna align the text to the middle, like this. And let's move the text slightly to the down, maybe like minus 50, like this. It's gonna be enough. Let's set some title, like true story. That's from my sample. Let's change the size a bit. Okay, we're good to go. Let's just rename this one. It's gonna be txt title. Let's save it. And let's try one more thing. Just raise your hands, who knows what is prefab in Unity? All right, 3%, that's great. So prefab, there's a pretty cool stuff I'm gonna explain to everyone else. It's kind of a schema. So when you did something in your project and you would like reuse it somewhere else, you're just gonna create a prefab from this one, and that's gonna be a schema. Then you can import that schema into any different place of your project, and it's gonna be the same. It's like a copy. But the trick of the prefab, if you're gonna go to change the prefab, like the source file, every instance of that file in your entire project is gonna be updated. And that's very cool for UI because, like imagine you have like hundreds of buttons everywhere in your project in different places, but they are still the same. And someday, I don't know, maybe your manager or it's like you have a task to change the style of all of them. It's gonna be too crazy to go and to change each of them like manually. You just go to the prefab, change the prefab, and that's it. It's much easier. So we're gonna do the prefab for the title. Just in case, if in the future we would like to change all the titles. It's not gonna be during this workshop because we don't have much time, but that's like a pretty good case to use in the future. So let's to make a prefab, everything what you need to do, then just drag the item from your hierarchy. Hierarchy, I mean that's this window in Unity. Just drag it and drop it to project window somewhere in some folder. I made the folder called prefabs. And that's it. You're gonna see, you're gonna notice some blue font right here. It means it's a prefab. And this icon of this blue cube, that's a prefab. So let me give you some sample. I'm gonna make a copy of this one. Move this one a bit down like that. Let's change some text. Like this. And let's jump inside of the prefab. To open this one, there is this tiny arrow right here. Just click on it, and you are in the prefab modification mode. You can change something right here, save it, and it's gonna be applied to your entire project. So let's say we're gonna change the size. So let's make the size bigger, from 36 to 46, like this. I'm gonna press Ctrl S to save it, and you're gonna notice how the second line gonna apply these changes as well immediately. All right. So that's it. That was a simple showcase how the prefab gonna be modified everywhere. But I'm gonna make it smaller because it's too big. All right, it's gonna be 36 back. All right. True story, good and evil. Okay, that's good. Let's call this one txt subtitle. And the next step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some buttons right here. It's gonna be play button, it's gonna be settings, about, something else. It's gonna be list of buttons. And again, a button that is repetitive thing in Unity. So you would like to again to use a prefab. So our goal right now is to make a prefab for a button. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create an empty.
Pardon me 1 second, I'll be something to
Yeah.
some people. Is Acid Wolf and Jordan here ordering your Uber Eats?
Which one?
Jordan. Okay.
And
And
your mic
then,
isn't taller. That's what I see. So I wanted to just double check.
and Kai, is there a Kai in here?
So then,
Okay.
thank you so much.
That's why we.
Oh, okay, so you would be okay with that, or what would you prefer?
All right, I guess we can continue.
I have some more also.
So to make a button, Unity has a predefined pattern or like template in and we can use that one. So we're gonna right mouse button click on the panel because we would like to create the button inside of the panel. Let's use UI and button text mesh pro, this one. All right. We have some simple button right there. I prefer to delete this sprite. That one's not very beautiful. All right, so we have button, we have text right there. It's not one. Let's rename it txt label like that, and the button gonna be BTM default for now. I prefer to use this small, short version of to explain what is it like. BTN, that's button, ing to an image, txt to a text. Because when you're gonna have a complex UI structure right here in hierarchy, it's much easier to understand what's that. So there's gonna be a label. To the label, we're gonna use another font. It's gonna be Smooch Sense. It's gonna be a bold one, this one. All right. And let's say, yeah, make it a bit bigger. By the way, probably like 40. Yeah, it should be enough. Let's make a prefab for the text for this one, like that. And then let's make a prefab for the button. We're also gonna drop the button prefab. And that's gonna be a trick. So we have a prefab of the button, but that prefab has a nested prefab inside. So it's still gonna work as previously. So if you're gonna modify the nested prefab, like txt label, it's gonna apply the changes in the entire project whenever you're gonna use it. So it's pretty cool because you can construct a really complex systems based on prefabs. Each prefab is like a Lego block. It could be something that then you're gonna construct something bigger and bigger, like layers. It's gonna grow. It's gonna be pretty modifiable because you still have this schema, the prefabs. You can modify them. It's gonna apply the changes to your entire project. So all right, we got the button prefab, and let's say, like in a demo, let me one more time to show you the final result we're gonna achieve. It's gonna be the button without a color at the background, so just text. That's what we want, like load, save, about, settings, exit. So to do that, we would need to make the image component kind of invisible, like this. Yeah, hold on, let me switch back to the normal mode, so you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So I would like to remove this rectangle, this white rectangle. There are multiple options how we can do that. We can just make the color of the image component invisible. It's gonna work, but there is a second trick of this workshop. So whenever you have an image component but that's still invisible, it doesn't mean it's not gonna be renderable. Your GPU of the device is still gonna consume some GPU cores, some memory to render it. It's still there. And it's gonna be worse if that component occupy more pixels of your screen. So let's say the button is super huge like this one, it's gonna be really bad because it's gonna be too many pixels gonna be involved during the rendering stage to render each pixel of this button, even if that's invisible. If the button gonna be smaller like this, it's not too bad, but still, why should we do that? There is alternative, and alternative is to use another oh yeah, and by the way, why do we need the image at all? So to make button clickable, we need something on the button to be recastable. So I'm talking about this checkbox right there. So it should be turned on, because in other case, the button not gonna receive events from event system at all. And if you're gonna click on it, it's gonna be just transparent to event system. You're gonna click through, and nothing gonna happen. So let's do the trick. Let's remove the image from here. Let's replace it with non-drawing graphic component. This one. It still has raycast target checkbox, but this one, it comes from a package we already installed at the start of this workshop. This one not gonna spend any GPU resources at all. It's gonna be like free to GPU to render this one. and this one gonna be clickable. So this is more about efficiency and optimization of your UI. Because complex UI in like commercial projects, they can consume a lot of resources for rendering. A lot of FPS you can lose just of having huge UI. So this trick is very valuable for projects like that one. So let's save this into prefab. I did modification outside of the prefab modification mode. They are in the scene, and you may notice this sign like something was removed, and this plus green icon something was added. So I would like these changes to be applied in the prefab. I can do this by clicking right here, overrides, and apply all. So all of this, what I have here, are going to be saved into the prefab. That's it. So then, let's make the buttons stretch horizontally like this. Let's stylize it a bit, make it a bit bigger, like 50 probably. Okay. And let's make a few more buttons, because we would like to have a bit more.
Pardon me, sorry, one more time.
Sure.
Rocket Garcia? Okay, cool. Are you okay with pizza tonight? Yes. Okay, cool. Just want to double check.
There is one more tip in Unity. So any text fields in Unity editor like this one, for positions, left, right, all of this stuff, they may do some simple math. So let's say I would like to move the button 60 pixels down. Why 60? Because like the button size is 50, and I would like to keep some offset between them. Let's say it's going to be 10. So it's going to be 60 pixels down for each button, just 60 down again and again. So to do that, what we can do, we can copy -60 like this. We can create a few more buttons right there. And we can just say -60, -60, and the button is right there. It slices it down. To this one, we're going to apply this one, -60, -60 one more time, and it's right there. Then this one, and that's good. Probably we don't need the rest of this too. And looks like we have two buttons right there, because they are too dark. All done. Yeah, this one. All right, let's give them some names. So it's going to be load, just for beautiful view. Load, save, about, settings, and exit. Okay. Okay, that's done. The next thing we forgot about, that's to connect the color. So we have a text in the button. We need to connect the color from the color palette to make the changes a bit later. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. So let's jump into a prefab right there, this tiny arrow, and to the text component right here. Or even better, let's jump into the text prefab as well inside, and let's connect the color binder right here. It's going to be Text Mesh Pro color binder like this, and the color we want is going to be primary text. All right, I just saved it. Let's switch back. Okay, so we have a purple color right there, and let me give you, take a look what's going to be happen if you're going to change the color palette in the Unity theme. So by default, by the way, we can add as many colors we want. There is a button right there. We can rename them if you would like to. We can change the color itself to anyone. And also, we can switch the theme. So right now we have just two themes, like light and dark. We can create a new one, set any name, and just use it. So for now, let me just show you what's going to happen if you're going to change the theme. So everything what is connected to a color, to any color, just going to immediately respect the changes, even if you are in runtime. So that's pretty flexible for some games. Like, did anybody play Genshin Impact? Yeah. Okay. Good. So probably you noticed in the main menu, it could be two styles, like dark and bright. So it depends whenever you log in. If that's going to be a daytime, it's going to be light theme. If that's going to be a dark time, it's going to be darker theme. So that's about this one. So you can just in runtime, there is an API in C# that lets you to switch a color in runtime, and that's going to work. Also, sometimes you would like to still have the color connected, like this one, the panel color, but you just don't want to be this one completely solid. I'm talking about non-transparent. So let me give you some sample. If I'm gonna run the game right now, the entire panel is gonna cover the sky. We're not gonna be able to see the sky like at all, and the sun. So if the sun is gonna be behind the panel, it's gonna be invisible. That's maybe not what we want for this specific case. So there is still a trick what we can use. The image color binder has a checkbox override alpha. That's transparency. So you can do that and make it slightly transparent. But the color is still there. So you still have connected color, and if you're gonna go to a theme, there's a button right here, and you're gonna switch this one to another theme, it's still gonna respect the change, but the color is gonna be a bit transparent, which is pretty handy for this specific case. All right, let's switch back. Let's return the change right there, okay? Let's save it. So the next thing, what we're gonna do, we have some list of buttons. We have the title, we have the mouse connected to desktop. And right now, let me show you the sample what we're gonna achieve. Let's do this play button. It's a pretty tricky one because it has some particle system inside, it has some UI effect inside, and yeah. So we're gonna do that. And before that, let me drop this cubes on the table. So we're gonna have some shadows and pretty cool look. I made the prefab for this one. Where is it? Location, this one. Okay, it's there. Let's take a look. Should already work. Yeah. So we have the cubes, we have the mouse, we have shadows. Looks pretty good. We have lens flare as well. Okay. Yeah, and until I switch back to the play button, maybe do you have any questions about all of this? Please ask. If not, I'm gonna go to the play button. All right. So let's go to the play button. Let's collapse all of this. Don't need that. Okay. So here is what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a variant of a prefab. So remember I told you like prefab is kind of a schema for something. But you can create a schema of schema. It's like, yeah, it's a bit tricky, but in Unity terms, it's called a prefab variant. So from the source prefab, you made a variant. And if you're gonna modify some original prefab, it's also gonna apply changes in the variant prefab. But still, a variant prefab might override some changes of the original one. You can add something, change something, even delete something. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a prefab variant from button default. To do that, you just need to right mouse button, click on your prefab, create prefab variant. That's it. Then you can type some name. This button gonna be a specific one. It's gonna be play button. We're gonna use this prefab probably just for the play button, or maybe for another accent button with pretty cool effect. For now, let's call it play. Let's open this play button and let's do some magic right there. So first of all, let's take a look right there. So we need some background. It should be a color, and then we're gonna add some particles. So let's start from the background. To do that, we're gonna create an empty game object right there. Let's call it img fill, because we're gonna just fill it by some color. Let's connect an image. Let's make it recastable, probably. Oh, no, sorry. We don't need it because our button parent object, this one, btn play, already has non-drawing graphic, and that one is recastable, so that's enough. You don't need more recastable stuff inside, because that's going to be like too much to CPU. And also, I forgot to notice, text component, it also has raycast checkbox. It's just a bit hidden. It's in the extra settings. So you probably want to disable this one as well. But let's do this in the prefab instead of the button prefab. Let's go to the text prefab right there, and let's disable the raycast target for this prefab and for another text label as well. Okay. All that disabled. Let's switch back to our play button. Okay, so we have button, text, we have image. So you may notice right now, the image component overlay the text, so we can see the text. That's because in Unity, the order is important. So right now, text is first, then image is next. It means text rendered first, then image, and image just overlay the text. Text is right there. It's a bit purple, yeah, it's still barely visible, but it's there. So to fix that, we're just gonna drag and drop it right there. So image first, then text. Let's stretch the image to the entire rectangular area, like this. All right, let's connect the color. Image color binder, and let's use tertiary. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's make the text in this button bigger, probably like 56. And let's make the entire button as bigger as well, maybe like 70. All right. Let's add a particle. Yeah. So the next step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a particle system inside. To do that, let's make an empty game object right there. Let's call it particle. Let's stretch it to the entire button, and let's move it to the left. So the pivot, that's a pretty interesting thing in Unity UI. So to be honest, rect transform, I mean this one, rect transform, it's a pretty cool and very smart component in Unity. It has a lot of settings right here. Some of them could be a bit tricky to understand at start, but I highly recommend you to spend some time to play with all these variables to understand what they are responsible for. For example, if I'm gonna change the pivot right here from 0.5 to just 0, the start position of this UI element is gonna be at the left, middle left side right here. That's important because for this particle system, we want each particle to be spawned at the left side, at the left corner, and then they're gonna fly all the way to the right. So we want to be sure the start point is going to be right here, this line. So that's why the pivot is going to be 0 by x. So let's connect to UI particle component like this. And then let's connect particle system itself. So particle system, probably a bit complex subject. We're not gonna go too deep into this one right now because we don't have much time. So I'm just gonna quickly set up some particles right there. To do that, I would need to change their size because they're too small. You notice they're super small cubes right there. And also, let's start from the material. I have prepared materials, sparkle particle. Let's connect it right there. So it's gonna be some sparkles. Let's change their size. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot to notice we need to connect to get a particle. We need to connect the particle like this. Yeah, that's done. So let's change the size of the particles. To do that, start. Where is it? Hold on a sec. Let's use pre-warm. By the way, that's a good stuff. Start lifetime. Start size. Exactly this one. Let's use between two constant numbers. So I just don't want all the particles to be the same size, so it's going to be a random number between 30 and 60. So they're going to be different. Then let's say the shape going to be rectangular. Vertically, the shape going to be have some size, like 100. No, 100, that's too big. It's smaller, like this. Okay. Then let's change velocity over lifetime. That's gonna let us to move the particle in space. And we're gonna say we're gonna move the particle over lifetime to the right. So it's gonna mean, it means x should be positive number, like 10. But you will notice 10 is too small. They are not even, I mean, they should go just far enough. So maybe 30, or maybe even more, like 100. So they even go too far, but that's fine, because there is another trick we can use. In Unity, we have masks. So that's a pretty cool stuff. So you can just cut off everything what is go outside of this space. To do that, we're gonna go right there to the parent object. So particle is inside. We go to the parent object, this one, mg field, and we're gonna add mask, rect mask 2D, this one. So, and you may notice immediately, all the particles, they just cut it off. They are not going far away from the bottom, they're just inside. But that depends up to you. So if you would like to have this effect, which is pretty cool probably as well, so if the particle is gonna fly out of the bottom somewhere to your screen area in the middle, that's still pretty cool effect. But for this case, we're gonna disable it. And then, let's make sure the particles spawns in a bit smooth way. That's very easy to do. There is a settings called color over lifetime. Let's activate this one. That's a gradient. It's very easy to do some changes like this. So the top line of this gradient is responsible for transparency. The bottom one is responsible for color. So let me show you. At the bottom, I can change the color. At the top, I can change the transparency. So it's gonna spawn a particle from fully transparent but still red color. Then it slowly go to red but not transparent at all anymore because it's non-transparent. Then it goes to white, not transparent. Then it's go to fully transparent. So it means it's gonna be fade in and fade out effect, which to us means that the particle is gonna look much better. And I'm gonna disable the red color, it's gonna be just white all the time, like this. So you may notice right now they appear smoothly. There is no teleportation effect or something like that. All right, so we have particles, we have the text. Let's add a shine effect. So to do that, there is a component from another package already installed called UI effect, this one. It has plenty of different effects. You may see that in this picture, a lot of effects. Very different one. But we are not going to go too crazy. We're just gonna use a simple one. It's gonna be shine effect. Like the button is made of metal, kind of. We're gonna load this one, shiny. Okay. And that's how the effect looks like. So it just shiny beam of light just follows through the button. So we can customize it whatever we want. We can change the color, maybe to some bit golden color like this. Maybe it adds a bit brightness. And yeah, so here's the effect. Very easy to add. But we want this one to be animated. We don't want this one to be static. So to do that, there is another component called UI effect tweener, this one. We're gonna connect this one. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. It has some settings like duration of the animation. Let's say it's gonna be just 0.5 seconds. Let's say play on enable. It means do you want to play the animation as only the scene gonna start? For this specific case, the answer is no, because we would like this animation to start as only we're gonna hover the mouse on it. So we're gonna disable this one by default. Wrap mode. we want the animation play once. Let's say this one, and let's connect to the button. Simple script. I made it for this specific workshop. I'm gonna show you source code, and you also have an access to that script on the GitHub page. It's called button events. So it lets you to do anything on some button event. For example, right now we just need event on enter. It means like as only your mouse gonna get inside into the button area, the UI system, event system, gonna create this event, and you can do something. In our case, we would like to play this shiny effect animation. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna press plus right here. We're gonna connect our UI effect component, which is on IMG field game object. Let's find this one. UI effect tweener, yes. And we're gonna execute play function. So let me explain one more time what's gonna happen. The button events gonna listen for UI events. As only we're gonna got on enter event, we're gonna play the shine animation from the UI from IMG field game object UI effect tweener dot play. That's a function to play the animation just once. You're gonna have the access for all this source code later, so that's gonna be a bit complicated. So you can just copy all of this stuff and play with this one to understand it better. Okay, so technically that's done. Let's switch back to the game, and let's just drag and drop the play button right here into our panel. Let's move it to the top. And let's move it a bit higher, like there. Let's resize it a bit. Let's say it's going to be offset from the left 40 pixels, offset from the right 40 pixels as well. And let's change the word, the label to play. All right. And the last tiny detail I would like to do, I just would like to make this text all the time uppercase. There is a very easy button right here in TextMesh Pro. This one is going to be uppercase all the time. Right. So we have play button, we have all of that stuff. Let's try to run the game and let's see what we're going to have. Okay. Yeah, so shine effect works as long as the mouse is going to be on top of the button. We got the effect just once. When I move mouse out, nothing happens. That's exactly what we want. As long as I move the mouse one more time inside of the button, we got the effect one more time. And I can do this like pretty quickly. It's gonna work. So yeah, technically that's it. Everything works. So yeah, everything is uploaded on the GitHub. Right there. There are multiple different branches. I just tried to do this project multiple times to just have some practice to do not fail during this workshop. So any questions? I'm glad to answer on any of them. All right. So yeah.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, of course.
This is really cool. Where did you go through and learn this? Like, where do you go and research for things like this?
So actually, this we just used multiple packages. The first one, the mouse parallax, I made this one. So just at some point of my career, I understand it's going to be like a pretty cool idea to use a mouse to connect it to some objects in your scene to make it more interactable, especially for a UI. And I also made, by the way, another package, like alternative this one, but that one works with gyroscope. So it works like this. So on your device, on your iPhone or Android device, when you turn a bit your device, it's also gonna read the data, but just from instead of mouse, it's gonna be gyroscope. So it was just some ideas I generated during my career. So yeah, it was no specific place where I got this information from. Yeah. Any other question, guys? Yeah, sure.
So for the buttons, so let's say we are making it so it's like playing stuff, would we be adding like scripts to like have it either change between different scenes or have it have two different things?
Yeah, actually that's a perfect question. Unfortunately, I didn't have much time to tell about that as well, but I wanted. Yeah, so I did many different UI screens in Unity, and I found probably very efficient strategy. So let's say each screen, that's kind of a subject. And you may have a lot of different buttons inside. They're gonna be managed by that screen entity. So probably for each screen, you would create a screen class, put it on some parent game object. That one gonna be responsible to show and hide the screen. And that one gonna be responsible to keep connections to everything under the screen, I mean inside of the screen, to any button. So that class is going to be also responsible to subscribe on the button's events, to call something else, to open another screen, but not anything else. So as only something goes outside of this screen's responsibility area, that class should be done. It should be another screen class to respond for another class. And also, like, this very good question, by the way, it's pretty deep. There is a very great plugin for Unity called DoZUI. That one has a lot of stuff to manage screens and user flow. So like you can switch from one screen to another one and then press back button, and it's gonna keep in memory like all the flow you get to this one, and it's gonna return you back. And also like you can customize to make some forks in your user flow to go in different areas, create some pop-ups on top of screen, like you're still in the screen state, but you can put something on top, like a pop-up. So it's a very complex and very cool stuff. So I highly recommend to use that one as well.
Is this the class for, not the class, the workshop for Unreal Engine?
Probably the next one, which you're gonna start right now, yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be. Are you gonna host it?
I'm hosting.
Oh, you, all right, perfect. Yeah. Any more questions?
And that was called like a GUI?
Yeah, I'm gonna show it real quick. It's like that. UGUI. That's this one. It's not free one. It costs some money. Oh, the page does not load up. For some reason. Maybe it doesn't have internet.
Thank you so much.
Sure. All right. Thank